The ocean in her eyes. The story of the diamond hearts. Chapter 2. The return of Kai Marleko. For 3 days after he gave his name, Kai Marleko did not return to Auntie's table. The stool he once sat on remained empty, facing the sea like a sentinel in mourning. Lena wiped it each morning, though no one asked her to. It became a ritual, an unspoken hope. A part of her told her not to care, not to feel, but hope is a quiet thing. It does not obey logic. It curls inside the chest like steam and waits. And then, on the 4th day, he came back. The morning sun had just started to burn the fog from the horizon when Lena saw him. He walked differently than other men, like someone who carried his own silence with him. No phone, no entourage, just a folded notebook in one hand, a pair of simple sandals on his feet, and the kind of stillness usually reserved for statues and stones. He sat in his usual spot. She brought the tea. "Did you find what you were looking for?" she asked. Kai tilted his head, studying her. "I did," he said softly. "Though I didn't know I was looking." Lena blinked, unsure if it was flirtation or poetry. It didn't feel like either. He reached into his notebook, tore out a page, and laid it between them. A rough sketch of her. Not her face, not really, but the curve of her posture, her hands holding a teacup, her gaze turned toward the sea. "You drew this?" she asked, her voice barely above the wind. He nodded. "I draw what speaks." Lena flushed, caught off guard. "You must have misheard." Kai smiled. "No, I heard you perfectly." By the end of the week, the whole island buzzed with questions. Kai Marleko, they discovered, wasn't just rich. He was legendary. Tech tycoon, eco-philanthropist, founder of Oceanglance, a company designing underwater cities and climate-resistant habitats. His name had graced covers of magazines. He'd vanished a year ago after a scandal involving his board and a secret island project. Everyone assumed he was in hiding. But here he was, drinking lemongrass tea with a girl no one remembered. "Why her?" the villagers whispered. "What's he playing at?" Kaleo watched with tight eyes, his pride curdling. "He's using her," he muttered to his friends by the harbor. "Some charity case. It's a joke." Kai never answered their stares. He seemed immune to judgment, as if their opinions passed through him like smoke. His days became a pattern. He walked the coast at dawn, took no phone calls, spoke little, and returned each afternoon to the cafe. Lena began to expect him, though she tried not to. One afternoon, as they sat in silence, watching a heron stalk the tide pools, Kai finally spoke. "Do you know the story of the pearl diver and the sea witch?" Lena blinked. "I don't think so." He leaned forward. "Once, there was a diver who dove too deep. He chased a pearl that shimmered beneath the waves like a fallen star. But the deeper he swam, the darker it became. Until he could no longer see. No longer breathe. He thought he was dying. And then, he stopped struggling. And only then did he feel hands around him. The sea witch, they said. But she wasn't wicked. She carried him back to the surface, placed the pearl in his hand, and whispered, 'You were never drowning. You were discovering.'" Lena looked at him for a long time. "Is that what you're doing? Discovering?" Kai didn't answer. He just looked at her. And for the first time, Lena felt the full weight of his gaze, not heavy, not possessive, but seeing. Seeing her in a way that made her ache. One evening, the village bell rang, an old tradition when an important announcement was to be made. People gathered in the square, curious and buzzing. Kai stood at the center, dressed in ceremonial linen borrowed from the town elder. He looked regal, serene, like something carved from dusk. "I've come to ask something of this island," he said, voice strong. The crowd hushed. "I've walked your beaches. I've heard your stories. And in your waters, I found something rare." He turned, looked directly at Lena. "I would like to ask for her hand." Gasps. Laughter. A few shocked cries. Kai held up his hand. In it, a woven box, the color of midnight. He opened it. Inside, nestled on velvet, were 8 black pearls. Each glistened with a sheen that hinted of stars and shadows. Pearls not just valuable, but mythical. 8 was a sacred number in island lore, symbol of completeness, of eternity. The village exploded. She bewitched him. This must be a prank. No one pays 8 pearls for a ghost girl. Kaleo stepped forward, red with fury. She's not worth a crab's shell, he spat. Lena stood frozen, the wind pressing her hair to her face. The world tilted. She looked at Kai. He said nothing. No defense. No speech. Just a small nod. A question, held in silence. Lena didn't answer. Not yet. But something inside her shifted. Something deep, tectonic. A storm was coming. And this was only the first wave.